Hello, welcome back. This week we address the Torah portion of Tavo, and in the opening line, the Torah says, "V'haya ki tavo la'aretz." It'll be when you arrive in the land that God gives you. V'rishta v'yashavta ba. You will inherit the land and you will settle the land. And then the Torah goes on to talk about bringing from the very first of the fruit that has produced, that God has blessed you with, and you bring these fruit to Jerusalem. And this was a big celebration. This is a way of showing appreciation, of saying thank you to God for giving me a wonderful crop and for blessing me in this land of Israel. And we must wonder why the Torah tells us V'rishta v'yashavta ba, that you'll inherit the land and you'll settle it. What's wrong with just saying it'll be when you arrive in the land and you'll work the land and you'll have crop that will blossom, that you have an obligation to bring from the very first to show appreciation to God. Rashi immediately points out that these words are teaching us that in fact the Jews were not obligated to bring these fruit of thanksgiving, known as bikurim. They only became obligated to bring this to the temple only once the land had been inherited, had been conquered, and settled fully. Now, it took actually 14 years for that to happen, from when they entered Israel until they conquered, and everyone was completely settled. It took a full 14 years. And so the question the Rebbe asks is, okay, well, I have my piece of land, and I've grown some wonderful crop, and I'd like to thank God. Why do I need to wait for someone on the other side of Israel who perhaps has not settled yet? Why do I have to wait for him to settle the land before I can come to God and say thank you? And the answer is because the Torah says that this thanksgiving was done with great joy. V'samachta b'chol hatov, that you are to rejoice with all the good that God has given you. And in truth, for one Jew to rejoice, it's insufficient that everything is going well for them. As long as they know that there's another Jewish person whose life is not settled, who they haven't settled the land, they haven't been able to produce, they haven't yet merited to have the blessings of God, then even the Jew that does have their life settled can't truly rejoice. Their simcha is lacking. And that's why we need to make sure and wait till everyone has their portion in the land and everyone is settled, and only then can it be a true joy even for me. Thank you, and have a wonderful Shabbat Shalom.